Well, that's what you get for having a woman host a late night show. Anyways,
I guess, yeah, sexism is not racism. You're right.
But yeah, fuck Jimmy Fallon for not shaking my hand. You have no friends who...
Yeah. Who wants to watch Bill Cosby avoid any consequences for raping people anyway?
Yeah.
Damn. Well,
Stop the work and fucking hold for everything.
welcome to the All for Everything podcast. This is episode 23.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. We have Jake. We got Jessica. They're both sickly, apparently.
Not fucking sick, bro. Jess is sick. I'm just dehydrated.
Jess is on her deathbed.
I wouldn't go that far.
No COVID, but she's getting her teeth taken out. Her fucking nose is stuffy. She's coughing for the past
My
2
nose
days.
isn't stuffy. Why are you lying?
Eric, I really want to know, what the fuck are you doing behind the microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry. Was that loud? Whatever that was?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, it sounded like you were trying to like open a bottle.
It wasn't.
Like,
I was fucking with a what you call it? A knife.
Oh yeah, I could just like hear the clicks, and now all of a sudden I know where all those clicks come from in like all our previous episodes, because like it was the first time like I caught it in real time, but like when I'm going back and like editing, I'm like, what the fuck is this noise? Like,
It's just me. It's me clicking away.
I've been like chalking it up to this is Zoom, like internet bullshit, like that happens all the time. Nope, it's just Eric. Get
Just
a
me.
fidget spinner. It's a little bit quieter.
Do you think it would be? I think
Well, as long as you don't like spin it right next to the fucking microphone, yeah, I think it'll be good.
Eric, if you really have to fidget with things, you have ADHD.
All right.
I have ADHD, and I do that all the time on set with my knife. And the
this just
fidget
like-
spinner used to help me.
Is this just the ADHD podcast now? Like the
All
podcast
three of us?
where all three of us have just like different forms of presenting ADHD?
That's the title of this episode. We all have ADHD.
That's good for clickbait, because there's an ADHD podcast.
We can team up with them and have nothing to contribute.
Should we just have them on as guests? How many people do they have?
It's one person, but it's a musician, so that would be kind of cool, actually.
And he's got ADHD, so it's entertaining because he never knows what the fuck's going on half the time. He's just flipping
That's just
around.
you.
That is me. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's not ADHD. It's just a problem that I have.
Well, maybe.
Could be.
I do have, like, somebody will tell me things, and I don't know. I can't remember. I mean, we've talked about this before, but I don't know.
Yeah, working memory issues is a big ADHD thing. But yeah.
Anyway, what have you guys been up to in the last 4 days since we last recorded?
It's been more than that. It's been 4 days since we released, but we record before we release, quite obviously.
That's true. I think we've had it's only been 6 days.
Not a full week.
Yeah. But
I mean, I'm just
still cutting wood.
Yeah. Well, I didn't cut any wood this week, but I will be next week. So
okay.
Yeah. No wood this week. All sound stuff this week. But that's
at the studio.
Yep. Which I'm back in because we're recording at like a reasonable time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd prefer to record here. Like I can actually like to some level control like the noise floor here.
Yeah.
But like when we record at like 10, 11 o'clock, that means I have to like walk home.
Right.
For like at like midnight or later.
I thought you don't bike. You don't bike sometimes?
Well, I bike sometimes, but like it's still the same thing. Like
right.
I'm like almost always in all black. So like biking in all black at midnight is just as fun as walking home through like the industrial part of East Williamsburg. So
right.
Get a reflector.
I don't have like my own bike. I'd have to like just carry around.
Do you want me to buy you a bike?
No, I'm hoping one day I'll just be able to like walk everywhere that I need to go, like to and from studio space. But I can technically do that. It's just not It's like a half-hour walk. So who wants to do that at like 1, 2 in the morning?
Bro, I might have to get a bike. I just paid $1,000 in tickets.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Because this area sucks. I hate it here. I hate it in Astoria. It's the biggest mistake of my life.
You know, I kind of remember asking you why you wanted to move to Astoria. And I don't think we ever got like a good reason for it. Well, like I found a place in Astoria.
Well, the good reason is it's similar to like Greenpoint, which probably should have been the move. It's in the middle of everything. If I need to take the train to the city, it's not that long. If I need to drive to anywhere, it's not that long. If I need to go to Edge, it's 10 minutes as opposed to 30 minutes where I was in Brooklyn. So, I mean,
I can see that.
But that was really it. I was just like, it's closer to work, but the car is killing me. It's like I'm already planning on leaving in like a year or two, just because like I don't want to leave so soon. But I also I don't know.
Well, let me know if you do. There might be a room that opens up in my building, so it could be easy. My landlord's pretty good.
I mean, the good thing is I know that I don't want to say I can afford this, but you know, at least I know what number I can hit. So maybe I can get a studio just for cheaper somewhere else in a nicer area and just a nicer spot, even though it'll be smaller. It'll just be nicer, like nice new hardwood floors kind of deal. Because this is not it. This is like,
just really concerned about the hardwood floors.
Well, it just makes the place look nicer. But here, it looks like, I don't know, like all the grout is brown. Like that's the color of the grout. I'm pretty sure. I hope that it's brown. Otherwise, if it's not, then it's just dirt. But it's just not a good color. It makes everything look dirty. I don't know. It's just the cabinets are old. The wall is old in the kitchen. There's no space to cook. It's just a mess. But whatever. Anyway, Jess,
that's been your week.
Yeah, you worked with Carolina, who did not work with me.
There was no PAs.
Yeah, whatever. Well, maybe I didn't want to be a PA. Maybe I wanted a grip.
Well, that would have been an issue because I was doing that.
Mm. What was it for?
PBS show thing. It's like the girl has a podcast and then PBS does like a follow-up of the podcast. So it's just interviews.
With who?
The lady from Good Morning America, Robin Roberts, I think her name is.
Yeah, but what about the other girl? You sent this picture.
Lily Singh was the other one. And then there was just like professors were the other people, like professors and doctors.
Lily Singh's got a late night show right now, right? Or
I don't know.
Did that get canceled?
I think it might be canceled.
Well, that's what you get for having a woman host a late night show. Anyways, first topic of the day.
Jesus Christ.
Eddie Izzard.
Diving right into...
No, I think it's still on. I could be wrong. I think she's got like the Seth Meyers slot on a different channel. So nobody's watching, but it's just there.
Well, no one's watching like late night anyway, and possibly because there's just so many of it now.
Yeah.
Like it used to be like just like two. Forever it was like just NBC and like CBS or whatever.
Yeah.
And now it's like every other channel has a late night host. And
it's funny because I was just talking to somebody and I was like, yeah, we were talking about how we want to go to LA just to go for like a week or whatever, just to visit. I've never been. And I was like, yeah, I want to see Jimmy Kimmel. And she was like, why would like, that's what you want to do in LA? And I was like, yeah, why is that weird? She's like, I don't know. Cause who the fuck watches late night shows? But then it's true. I mean, I don't really watch anymore, but I remember, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I tried to record all of them. I think the last 2 years of Letterman was probably like, because that was when all the Conan and Jay Leno
Yeah.
drama was happening. Like that's when I was watching. And then, you know, I think once Colbert took over for Letterman, I stopped watching all of them because I was like, all right, well, the beef is done. Like,
Yeah, I think
Conan lost. Like, there's nothing really.
Oh, I don't know if Conan lost.
Not
Like,
lost, but
Conan,
you know what I mean. He never, in my eyes, he never got like the comeuppance that he deserved. Or maybe he was happy, so it didn't really matter. He probably did make the money that he. I guess because TBS in my eyes always seemed lower than most network shows, but now that like wrestling is on TBS, I realize TBS is the channel that you go to when you want more viewers. So, I mean,
yeah, I was going to say, I think comeuppance is the wrong word.
Okay, not wrong. Yeah, not comeuppance.
Because comeuppance is like
he got what was coming to him. That's
Yeah.
not what that's not what I meant. I just meant like I wanted him to defeat Jay Leno before Jay Leno was kicked out, kind of thing. Or defeat NBC. I wanted like a fuck you to NBC, but I never really got that.
Well, I think I mean, his show was like was like the longest running for, I mean, his just tenure as a general late night host.
Yeah.
He's probably like the last like great one, essentially. Not that like Colbert, Kimmel, and Fallon are like bad.
Yeah.
But each one of them like has, Seth Meyers is pretty good actually. I just forget about him all the time is the problem. But like every time I see like clips of his shit, I'm like, oh, I like this. But like, they all have some like individual things they do well, but they don't bring it. It doesn't feel
like a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not like it used to, it's not like
Conan, I think, had just like a very like similar to Letterman and even Leno to an extent, like had a bigger part of his personality into the show.
Yeah.
Or it was like they felt a lot different versus a lot of the late night stuff now feels like it's
kind of
just
the same.
Yeah. And there's like one or two things like, oh yeah, Colbert will do this or Myers will do that. Or like Kimmel will often do like monologues to make himself look like a very sympathetic character. But like it's at the end of it, it's like, oh, but they're all doing similar shit. Like,
right. And they've all
when Conan left, I was like, I think that's when, not that I was like watching it every time because I don't have cable, but like he was the one that I would be like actively following, be like, oh, fuck yeah, let's see what Conan did. Yeah. And his interviews often were the ones that I thought were like the funniest interviews and shit like
always. That. Him and Letterman would always, I mean, despite the fact that people have been trying to cancel Letterman for the past, ever since he left, his interviews were always.
Why are people trying to cancel Letterman? I haven't heard anything about this.
Yeah, there's like all these videos that keep coming out about how he like made women uncomfortable and like all this
it does look a little creepy when you watch the clips back. And also Conan, I think, is disingenuous. I've never liked him.
What?
Yeah.
Have you
his laugh is super fake. Him and Fallon, both of them. I just think that it comes off forced. Like
if you watch Conan's documentary, I don't think you would feel that way. Like you watch this, like that was, I mean, we don't have to keep talking about this, but that was really, you could see this dude just get broken by this whole thing. And it really humanizes him. Not that he wasn't already. Like I feel, honestly, I thought the total opposite. I thought he was more genuine than any of them.
Yeah,
I think part of it is also like, he does like every single one of them is doing some level of like character, and his is like a little bit more like pronounced. But I think his is also like, I listen to like his podcasts and stuff like that on occasion when like the guest is someone I'm interested in, and like I don't know. I guess I understand like his laugh does sound a bit forced, but then people like Jimmy Carr exist, and it's like that doesn't sound like that should be anyone's real laugh, but it seems, based on evidence, that right. is his actual fucking laugh. But like,
I think like him and Fallon come off like, just like they don't actually give a shit about the guests. Not like, and I'm not, it's just like personal opinion. Not like he's a shit night show, but I'm not really into night shows. So maybe that's why I just feel like, because I feel like they're all kind of like that. Like they're kind of just like, nobody really gives a fuck. They're just asking stupid ass questions.
I have a personal vendetta against Jimmy Fallon because he didn't shake my hand when I went to his show, but that's a whole other story. They asked us, we got there, and when you get there, there's like this girl, and she's like, "Hey guys, would you love to rock out behind the band at the end of the show?" And I was
Rock
looking at
out.
dude, that right away should have been the telltale not to do it, but I guess she was trying to get us excited, and I kind of just looked at my friend Rob, and I looked at my ex-girlfriend, and my ex-girlfriend was like, "I don't go, I don't care," and Rob's like, "Oh no, whatever." I was like, "All right, yeah, sure, we'd love to rock out with the band at the end of the show," because we thought, like, I don't know what we thought, we'd be on stage or whatever. Anyway, fast forward, we get inside. They put us all the way in the back row, like up to the very top. So they have us wait for everyone to get in, I guess, so that at the very end they can kind of tell who agreed to be on the stage.
Who agreed to rock out?
Who agreed to rock out with Mos Def and his band. And I was like, that's the weirdest wording for this.
That's not, Mos Def is not part of Jimmy Fallon's band.
No, I know. No, not with his band. It was him and his band that were the musical guests for the show.
Okay. I thought you were mistaking Questlove.
No, that would be racist, Jake. And I don't do that.
All you do is say that you can't have female late night hosts. So I guess, sexism is not racism. You're right. Continue.
Listen. Anyway, fast forward where he does, like, Jimmy goes and like shakes a few people that rocked out behind the band, shakes everyone's hand except for me and my crew. And we were like, what the fuck? And then he kind of just like goes in his little door like Willy Wonka and disappears, and that was it. And then we left. And I was like, we really just sat here and barely watched the show because we couldn't see in this back row.
Yeah.
William H. Macy was one of the guests. Pissed. That was before we even really got into Shameless. So it was like, I didn't really care. So, but yeah, fuck Jimmy Fallon for not shaking my hand.
You're like fucking Hank Hill with George Bush in that one episode.
What did he do to Hank?
He gave him a limp handshake, and it made Hank question whether or not he should continue voting Republican. He's like, how can I vote for a president if he has a limp handshake? That was what a good fucking show. King of the Hill. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about today.
Anyway,
we spent the whole time
Eric,
talking about
you're on SVU?
Yeah, tomorrow. I have anxiety. I don't really want to do it, to be honest.
How'd you get G&E?
Local 52 called me.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I mean, they call me every now and then because I've done a couple of union jobs, and my name is just there. But ever since, I don't know if I ever brought it up on the podcast, but I did a union thing a few months ago, and I texted the best boy. Not the best boy. I don't know what he was. He was he might have just been a grip, but he was the guy who got me the job, and he was cool before we worked it. And he was like, yeah, you probably make like 400 a day and yada, yada, yada. And I didn't understand the concept of the 8 hours and then time and a half, whatever. I just thought, you do 12 hours, you make a certain, whatever. I don't know what I texted him with like the most simple question. And it was like, hey, I'm just double checking, like, what is this number that I'm getting? This is what I just got paid, but you mentioned that I was going to get this. All he had to say was, well, you get time and a half for 8 hours after 8 hours. And I think we only worked a 10 or 11 hour day.
Yeah. You did mention it. Oh, fuck.
Oh, I did? What? Yeah, you're stuck, but it's okay.
Yeah, don't worry.
It looks really funny from my screen. It's literally just your arm shaking like this.
I know.
It was literally like half of your screen was stuck on mine. The other half was like fine. So I was hoping it would correct itself.
I thought you were just nervous and you were just
I got switching. No, I fixed it, but now I'm on my shitty camera.
It's all right. It looks fine. But anyway, long story short, yeah, I'm like kind of nervous to go because I don't know who's going to be there, and I feel like
I can find out because I was gonna say if my boy.
I know the guy. I know the best boy because I mean I don't know him, but when Local 52 called me, I was like, hey, can you give me the number for the best boy because I want to text him and let him know like, I'm pretty green. So if I get there, don't treat me like an asshole because I don't know anything. So basically I told him, I was like, listen, I'm green. So I can understand if you want to go with somebody else, I'm just letting you know beforehand because I don't want to show up and then you think I know everything. And then I'm just like standing around like a dickhead. And he's like, he seemed cool. He was like, come with a good attitude, yada, yada, yada. And then he asked me to work Monday and I said, yes, even though I'm pretty sure I can't do that. But
why can't you do that?
I do have a dentist appointment. My tooth is getting worse because it got better and then worse, but whatever. I have to go to the dentist on Monday anyway.
Well, if Alex Lane is there, tell him I said hi.
It's Justin somebody.
No, Alex. I don't think Alex is the best boy. Alex is just a grip. But I don't know if he was on for the season. I don't know if he still is.
Yeah, I just don't know how I feel about union things.
I want to join the union bad and I can't get on the list. And I've had union jobs, so I'm so confused about how the fuck you got on the list. I mean, she told me straight up, she was like, hey, if for whatever reason they find somebody for Friday, because we said you had the job, just if they knock you out, just call and we'll get you another job. So I don't know, whatever. And it's cool because they keep track of you obviously can keep track of your own call sheets and hours and shit, but she says they have a list of everything that I've worked. So she'll let me know when I'm eligible for the union. Yeah, but, I know. I mean, by that point, hopefully I'll know things, but I also don't really know how I feel about being a part of the union. I don't really know the pros and cons other than benefits and whatever else. I guess if it's people that I know, I wouldn't mind doing it, but there's a lot of benefits.
Yeah, I was gonna say
way better pay and protection and all this other stuff. It's way better.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're the first person to be like, I don't know if I want to join the union on any kind of level in film. It seems like everyone on every level has been like, yeah, I want to get into DJ. I want to get into local. I want to get into.
when me and Jess did the Chinese feature, a lot of people were like, yeah, I don't want to join the union because there's not a lot of freedom. But I never really understood that either because
the opposite. There's a lot of freedom.
I don't understand that because you can say no to jobs and just, call them whenever you want to work. But
also you could work for 3 months, get a solid, decent ass paycheck, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want because you already made a shitload of money.
But it might just be a creative thing. People don't want to get sucked into that. They want to be able to jump to. I think it's more of maybe for camera people. Like a DP wouldn't really want to join the union because then they're not really. Because then you're shooting manifest. Who the fuck wants to shoot manifest when they could be? I mean, obviously, if you're, nothing against manifest.
No, DPs definitely want to join the union. They just don't want to join the union as a first AC.
But I think,
and to join as a DP, you have to pay $15,000.
But also, if you join the union, you're not allowed to do all these independent things.
I don't think 600 cares.
I don't. Well, then why do people fake their name on call sheets?
Because I think it's you have to get approval, but I think 52 cares. Certain unions care, but I heard since 600 doesn't get you jobs, they don't care as long as you tell them. That's what I heard. I don't know how true it is. I'm not trying to get in 600.
I don't know. To be honest, I would love to just I love driving the truck. If I could find my way into
the fucking Teamsters.
No. I don't know if I want to be a Teamster because they're literally just sitting there all day. But at the same time, if I'm sitting there all day, I could have time to write and shit like that. But that's because they're not doing anything all fucking day.
I don't know. I mean,
they get there at 4 a.m. They pull the steps out. They, clean the bathroom and then
you keep it gassed up.
Take a nap and the fucking. And how much do they make? $100 an hour or some wild shit?
Yeah, they make ridiculous money.
That's silly. That's why. But also, it's probably.
But they're also besides locations, first in, last out. Those two kind of share that together, where it's you're not getting anything done if the truck's not there.
I get that,
Yeah.
but they're
But
only
you
like,
would sleep in the truck.
Yeah.
there's that, and it's. I mean, they don't work weekends, do they? Really? As much?
I think if you're shooting, yeah.
Yeah, it depends. Like, really, union stuff seems to be like the days aren't specific. It's like the amount of hours in a week tend to be specific.
Mm.
So like, it's not like specifically Saturday, Sunday you have off, because I worked on union sets on Saturdays and Sundays, but like when
Right.
we've done that, some other day was taken off. Like,
I see.
so like the hour, like I think it's more like whole week hour protections, not specific days protections.
I'm just starting to realize I kind of like having weekends off because it's like, well, everyone else is off on the weekend, and like, not that I go out and like have fun, but it's nice to know that I would,
Well, then I like everything you're saying. I'm just like, why wouldn't you want to be a part of?
No, I know.
Like,
But I think
just like
there was
seems
so
like
many-
you want to be part of it. Like you're closer to a guarantee to have weekends in the union than in the non-union world.
But I will say though, like the people in the union and the people on indie stuff, I feel like I relate more to the independent people than I do the union, because the union is like, it's very like, go fuck yourself.
Here's the thing.
We're better than you, kind of, and I don't really. Go ahead.
You can be in the union for one department and not other departments.
Exactly.
So like, you don't have to be like, just because you're in the like as like a grip or something doesn't mean you can't do production on non-union sets. Doesn't mean you can't do, like my friend Ian. This is before he was in the locations union, but he was like working union jobs in locations, and then he was doing non-union in art. Like,
well, that's why I want to do
like
52.
He just like subdivided it, where it was like, yeah, I like doing the art stuff. Not my like main goal, but there's no reason to go and like get into that union.
Yeah.
And he got decently high up in that. But now that he's in locations union, it's like he doesn't even have to look for those jobs essentially.
Yeah, that's what I want to do 52 for. Because 52 finds you gigs. I'll get my G&E stuff through the union, make my decent money, and then I just DP indie shit. And I'll have time to do it because the union, you work for 3 months if you get a series or a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good. I just, I don't know if I relate to the people. I don't know if I'm really comfortable. Like, it's also just so much bigger when you're on these things. And
you're also green. Like my first 52 thing was wild. Like, and I was green when I did my first 52 thing, and it's very overwhelming. I think if you did G&E for like another year or so, you wouldn't feel the way you feel now.
Maybe. I just like the anxiety driving to the location, and fucking with COVID, it's even more annoying because you get there and you got to get tested, and then you're like, all right, well, now what? There's nobody really directing you anywhere. It's like, all right, let me just get in this black van and figure out what happens after I get out. And then I don't know. It's also this is even weirder because I don't know anybody on this union thing. The last one I did is because I knew somebody and I was like, all right, no big deal. But now this one, I don't fucking know anybody. So, I'm like, it's going to be bothersome for them because I don't know as much. Like even if you think everything on an indie shoot, you show up on one of these and it's like, oh, I don't know anything. Like
but
it becomes
told like the fucking best boy already that you're fairly green. So like,
I know, but whatever.
And eventually you won't be like,
well, seriously, if Alex Lane is there, tell him that you know me. And I said to be a dad.
Be a dad.
Be a dad. Episode 23. Be a dad.
Be a dad. Okay.
So now that we've done talking about like
that's cool,
late night shows from our teens and early adulthood, and
we can make clips
the
out
union,
of that.
the union versus non-union world.
To be fair though, the union versus non-union world is probably an interesting conversation.
That's an interesting conversation.
That's one that actually people.
Nobody's looking it up on YouTube, but I'm sure people would enjoy it. if I do, like, I'll just post the clip and be like, "Hey guys, chime in on this." I don't think anyone's looking it up on YouTube. Yeah. Union or non-union?
Well, we'll probably get a lot of
union
right to work.
You fucking pussies.
I mean, I look shit up like that.
Oh, I think
looked up like the knots on the grip test and shit. I totally looked that shit up.
I think in all likelihood we'd probably get more non-union people just being.
Yeah.
just being like fucking right to work and all that shit, even though in every fucking study, all the right to work states have lower wages than like the more pro union states. So like, but they do talk shit.
They do. What are you drinking, Eric?
Fresca.
It's called Super Soft.
Oh, I've had that before.
It's
like
not
an IPA,
bad,
right?
I don't like IPAs either.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like it's not like a IPA without a bite, basically.
Yeah. So I downloaded an app called Untapped.
I know that app.
And
oh my God, my brother is heavy
obsessed
on that app. Yeah.
I mean,
like,
it's kind of cool. Like, cause I don't, whenever I go to these places, whenever I go to the places where it's like, we have beer that nobody else has. I'm like, I don't fucking know what any of this means. So now if I go to these places, I'm going to start like looking them up and just look at the ratings and shit. Super Soft had like a 3.8 or something like that. And that was probably the best option in my grocery store. So I just picked these. Also, it was shitting on Modelo. It had like a 3.2. I'm like, damn, bro.
Bro, you don't. They're absolutely gonna shit on Modelo and like Budweiser and shit like that.
Modelo and Stella, they were just trashing on it. 3.1, 3.2. I'm like, damn, bro. Okay.
This includes my brother, but like he got into it. Him and his neighborhood, they like the COVID bubble kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Like his immediate neighbors are a couple blocks away. They have like kids that are in a similar age as his kids and all that shit. So like basically all the moms started hanging out and all the dads started hanging out during COVID. And my brother, who used to be like super into like whiskeys and other liquor and stuff like that, now is like super into beer, and they like go out of their way to get like ridiculously hard to get beers and shit. Like they have Untapped. They have like,
it's kind of cool.
No, but I'm downloading it so I can look him up, so I can find out like.
Oh, you can find like
stats.
friends and shit.
Yeah, it's supposed like this came out. I remember when it first came out because I was in college when I think it either first came out or first like was getting some level of popularity.
Yeah,
because I remember downloading it and being like, I don't get the appeal.
Well, because I mean, it's like a game.
Later,
you can get badges if you go to certain bars and drink certain drinks, and you could. I mean, I guess it's probably cooler if you have friends who also use it, because mine was like, you have no friends who have this badge. And I'm like, yeah, because I probably have no friends that are on this app. I have no friends in general.
But like, no, but because they do all this shit, they have like this massive list, and they try not to fucking get doubles of shit like they do for like super the ones that they fucking love.
Uh-huh.
But there's a lot that they're like, oh yeah, that's good, that's like a 4, and then they'll like never get it again because they only like rebuy shit that's like 4.5 to like 5 or something like that.
That's probably going to be me. Like after I use this app for a little bit, I'm probably never going to drink a Modelo ever again, because I'm gonna be like, dude, that shit is trash. I can't be in the same room as Modelo.
How do I find my fucking brother on here? There's got to be a way.
Well,
anyway, let's continue, and then I'll just point out how he's going to be upset if he watches this.
Okay, so I have a must discuss, only because Rita Ora was a part of one of our biggest clips for whatever reason. I think because she was banging somebody else, and our boy
Taika,
and who's the other lady?
Oh yeah, it was like a threesome.
Yeah, what a lucky man. Anyway, well no, Rita, whatever. Anyway, so Rita Ora, Luke Evans, and Josh Gad are going to be in the Beauty and the Beast prequel series. I'm assuming Josh Gad is the Beast. Is that fucked up if I say that?
Wasn't Josh Gad
Book of Mormon?
No, wasn't he already in the first one? Like the remake that they already did?
They did a remake of Beauty and the Beast?
Yeah. They did a live action remake. That's why they're doing a prequel instead of
He was.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he's just probably reprising his character, and the Beast wouldn't be in the prequel. That's how the prequel would end.
Yeah, didn't he turn into the Beast?
Yeah.
So who was? Oh, Josh Gad was the Beast?
No.
Why
would
he
Josh
was
Gad
the
be
Beast was a person?
No, I know, but I'm saying Josh Gad. He's okay. Well, Luke Evans, he's the more attractive one, I guess.
They already had. I mean, did Luke Evans play him in the original? They already have a character for it.
Right.
If
He
they're
did.
going
He
to, like,
did. Yeah, Luke Evans played him.
All right,
Gaston.
yeah,
He played Gaston.
We're gonna
Yeah.
look this up. We're gonna look this
so
up.
it's a Gaston based one then. But like, I can't. I'm stuck on like, yo, Josh Gad, the guy who transforms into like supposedly attractive like human like later. Like, you would need him to play the Beast. Why is he your first choice for the Beast?
What? No.
Who's
Who's LaFoe? Whatever. I don't remember that.
LaFoe he's like the guy that basically like is Gaston's yes man.
Well, that's who Josh Gad is.
Yeah, he's basically just felt like, as in the cartoon, I don't even know if he gets like a real name in the cartoon, but that's like that's what he would be called. And he's just the guy that every time Gaston's like, we're doing this thing, he's just like, yeah, let's do it. Like,
Gotcha.
Just the constant tag along yes man, basically.
So he's not the Beast. That's he's that guy.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is the Beast? God damn it. Beauty and the Beast.
I'm gonna find out now.
IMDb prequel. We're ready. For audio listeners, we're looking up the cast. For video viewers, the confused look on my face is me not being able to find the answer to this question.
Because they probably didn't find him or release it.
Well, but the movie already exists.
That's what I mean. If it's based on, I see what you're saying, but there would be.
But he
no
won't
Beast.
be the Beast. He's going to be like a human. So they could really cast whoever they want.
Right, but wasn't he?
And he's going to be a younger human too.
But don't they show the human in the movie? Doesn't he become?
Yeah, but they don't need to have it be the same guy because it's a prequel. And I think in like the actual story, like in the story of it, like it's a kid. Like it's essentially like a teenager when he gets turned into the Beast.
I see.
It might not be bringing back Dan Stevens, who plays the Beast.
There we go, Jake. Look at Jake coming in clutch. Dan Stevens.
You know how I came in clutch? I fucking typed in Beauty and the Beast on Google and then looked at the second billed person after Emma Watson.
That's why we keep Jake around, Ed. He knows how to Google shit.
Generally can read, yeah.
What does this guy do before Beauty and the Beast? I hate him already.
It looks like he probably was a stage actor, but I don't know him.
I hate that. Don't you just hate stage actors? If you're a stage actor and you walked on this, I'm sorry. I love you, but I hate you.
Why do you hate stage actors?
Maybe because I'm on the second super soft and I drank the first one a little too fast. But
I do like that. Like,
I hate it because.
Were you going to do this even if we did record at noon? Just like pound through like 2 IPAs, 20, 30 minutes into recording? I want to point out that we're recording like right now. It's 3:45. Like,
why do you got to let people know how early it is that I'm drinking?
Because it's notable that like I'm not, and neither is Jess right now.
Well, guys, this prequel.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think the Beast is in it.
So it's like a Gaston based.
Yeah, it says like they set off on an adventure with Tilly after her past comes back to meet her with surprising results. So it looks like it's a whole. It's not. It has nothing to do with the Beast.
I always love like different. I guess this is different though. It's not really a different spin on. I always like Hook does after the original Peter Pan story.
That was kind of cool.
I love the after stories. I don't really give a shit about the prequels. The prequels, so I rescind my statement. I don't really like prequels. If they had done an after Beauty and the Beast, I'd be like, that's kind of cool.
I think the prequel, I think for Beauty and the Beast though, after would be boring. What the hell are you going to write about? Their family.
How do you make this interesting?
Family drama.
I do get what you're saying.
I like that they have it detached from the story, basically, like the original one. They're taking characters and expanding a world. I think that's like the better thing to do. A lot of times when they do sequels, they either like follow the same group, and I don't care for that, or they do it like too immediately after, where it's like, oh, this is happening like maybe 2 months after this. Like
not sequels though, but like, I mean, Hook was, I guess, a sequel to Peter Pan, but it's not, it's like years, it's like 20, 30 years later. It's a completely different spin on it. It's like,
well, this seems to be like that concept just before.
That's kind of cool though.
In the world, like it does seem as though, like, even though he's like the villain of the story of Beauty and the Beast, the town regards him as vaguely like a hero-esque figure, Gaston. So like the idea of like expanding upon his story to be like, how is this dude able to get like an entire town to riot with basically no fucking effort is like, oh, probably because he did something in the past that like warrants their like weird absolute trust in him.
I wonder.
I mean, it
the whole
seems
town,
cool.
if you remember, is immediately like, fuck Belle. She's weird and reads books. We absolutely love Gaston. Dude is amazing. Like that's like the two songs that they sing about the characters from the town is Belle's a weirdo. Gaston is our favorite.
Luke Evans plays Gaston. Okay.
Rita Ora's character is playing a fugitive with surprising abilities. It does look kind of cool because it is disconnected. It looks like it's definitely disconnected. So it does.
So are they gonna make Gaston a likable character? Is that the idea?
I mean, it looks like it.
And then he just turns into a dickhead, I guess, whenever they finish the show.
I think what it'll be is he'll probably maintain the characteristics, but it will be like, because truthfully, like in Beauty and the Beast, like the Disney version of it, like at least I never saw the live action, but like the cartoon of it, once again, he's kind of a dick, but he's like kind of just like jock asshole. Like it's easy to see him being like the primary hero character of another story.
I can see them doing,
and debatably, based on like from the town's perspective, all that you know is happening, he is the hero of that story.
Right.
If you're like if you're not part of the audience, he's like, a beast has captured one of our townsfolk and is holding them hostage.
It sounds like it's gonna be like Peacemaker, like John Cena's Peacemaker. Like he's a bad guy, but
but I don't think you need to be that absurd.
Right.
Ordeal. Because
maybe
like
not that.
Peacemaker is like they're real on the nose. I think you can be like, yeah, all the character traits that Gaston, he's still like an arrogant jerk, but he does mean well in these moments. Like that's not like, you don't have to have like a heel turn, because I would argue, doesn't have a heel turn based on all available information.
It's just how he is.
Yeah, he's a bit of a sexist and a bit of a dick, but he also is like trying to save someone by all the information that he has as being kidnapped and held prisoner in a castle by a beast. Like he doesn't have the context that they've fallen in love, because they did that like 5 minutes before he decided to invade the castle.
Yeah,
like even on our screen time, like
maybe he's a good guy just trying to save this lady.
Yeah, you can be have a shitty attitude and be technically doing the right thing based on the information available.
Right.
His motivation's like, Belle will fuck me after this. But like, he's still technically like on his information, doing the right thing. Like,
listen, it doesn't matter what he's doing it for. If he's doing the right thing, it's okay.
Yeah. You can be horny for good.
I'm like that all the time.
Yeah, I think you're horny for neutral. I don't think you have a plus or minus on the world based off of that urge you have.
I'm just horny all the time, is what you're saying?
Yeah, and it doesn't affect the rest of the world in any positive or negative way.
All right, that's good. At least it's not negative. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, Gaston is like problematically horny, but it's for a cause.
My horniness is not for a cause, dude.
No. Objectively speaking.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yay or nay on I mean, you guys kind of like, I was against it, and I was for it, and then I was against it, and now I'm for it because the way you just explained it. It kind of it reminds me.
I probably won't see it, but I'm in.
Yeah, I like it. I like it too.
Unless this clip does some numbers, then we'll be there.
Then we'll have to see it.
Episode 1, we'll be there, baby. 8:00. What channel?
8:00.
Disney Plus. Disney Plus.
Oh, so 12 a.m. Be there. We'll be square. Yo, Disney Plus is just taking over the world. Man.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, on to much more delicate topic. Michael Jackson. He's got a biopic in development through Lionsgate. I don't know if this was just, I'm pretty sure this was just announced. Either it was just announced or the fact that Lionsgate was distributing it was just announced. I don't really are they going to do the Bill Cosby route or are they going to go and just pretend that he's the greatest guy of all time? Do we think he's the greatest guy of all time? Do we?
At this point, I don't think you could make a biography that doesn't at least touch on that because it's so well known. It's not like
no pun intended. No pun intended. Touch on that. All right. Anyway,
nice one, Eric.
They're definitely going to touch on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't think they.
Yeah, they are.
It would be irresponsible not to, and I don't think even if it's like they give it less screen time than it deserves, there's no way you could make this and not do that. It would be like unless you're courting outrage, because people would be like, "What the fuck?" At least say that this happened. It's a major part of his life. You have to include it.
Yeah, this article here says it's an in-depth portrayal of the complicated man who became the king of pop, and then it says that it's informed insight into the entertainer's artistic process and personal life. So there's no way they're not gonna touch on it.
Do you think he gets this kind of not glowing, but the way they phrase it is complicated man and stuff like that and all that shit. You think it gets as I don't know, delicately addressed if he's just a rich guy who did it, not a singer that has beloved songs by people? If you think
I don't know because the thing is it's such a weird, his case specifically is such a weird thing because nothing's ever really been proven. And then there's he had his own messed up childhood and he wasn't all there. When you watch him, you know that there's something very off, and I'm not saying he's stupid or anything. I'm just saying
I'm only going to push back because there's been a couple of videos on Instagram in the last couple of weeks that show that he's got a guy's sense of humor, a famous guy's sense of humor. He's sitting in a limo and there's a bunch of women pushing up against the limo and he's look at all these fish. Oh, that looks like a good looking fish. He's from an outsider's perspective, he seems like a pretty self-aware from an outsider's perspective, he just seems like a weird dude. But then you watch a video like that and you're like, he's just he seems like a regular, he's pretty self-aware. So I don't know if him being a fucking creep,
but I've also
get a pass.
But I've seen video of just making a sex joke doesn't mean that you're not all there. I've seen video of him frolicking away from people in this kitty voice. It's weird. That's what I mean by he's just a weird dude and he get the shit beat out of him when he was younger and he's just had no life. I'm not making an excuse because I have my own feelings on the situation, so I'm not making an excuse for him. I'm just saying why I think he kind of gets the pass in the eye of the public.
I still think that he probably only gets that because of the nature in which he's famous. I think if he was if this was Elon Musk accused of these things, he'd have fanboys that defend him, but I don't think the public at large would be oh, but he's just kind of awkward and weird and
right.
He had a fucked up childhood.
But if he acted like Michael Jackson, do you still think that would apply? Because I don't think so. Because Michael Jackson, the way he acted was childlike. So I think that's why. That's why he gets it.
I see what Jess is saying because Elon Musk doesn't act weird. So it's kind of there's
Elon Musk doesn't act weird.
No, he acts weird.
Are you fucking kidding me?
A child. That's he likes he acts like a kid.
He acts weird, a nerdy weird. But Michael
I wouldn't even say he acts nerdy weird. But still, all I'm saying is that if we're going into this in a specific, really hard and specific, and my point is I don't think we do that for if this behavior is matched in another person who just didn't have like the cultural impact that he did as well. Is I guess my point. I don't think we make these like I don't think we even like address these so much if it's not like Michael Jackson is like this nigh legendary figure.
But what about R. Kelly?
I don't think well, he's not quite as like he had like a lot of shit, but he's also not quite as legendary and also not quite as, once again, as you said, undebatable. Like
that's what but
R. Kelly is like very much like, no, he absolutely.
But he was debatable for a really long time. Like he did sly away from it, and he beat his allegations in the beginning of it. He beat those allegations. Like he was popular after he peed on that girl.
Yeah,
but like is he undebatable because he lived? You know, if Michael didn't die, would he have eventually?
I mean, you could
got.
Well, no, because I think you could argue that Michael Jackson should have gotten got after he died, because then like all NDAs and stuff doesn't matter.
Right. So, I mean, is it possible that basically what I'm saying, like, you know,
I think all Michael's music is go to the estate, which his family definitely would still have a vested interest in protecting. But no, I still think that, yeah, but there was like a lot of pushback on R. Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, people are trying to free him from jail. Like that's a whole other, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like he's alive to be in the limelight and fuck himself. Like he self-reported himself basically by doing these interviews and shit like that. Like he ruined himself. But if he had vanished from the world before any of that, would we be allowed to listen to his music? And
well, no, because
the same way we are Michael right now.
R. Kelly's came back to light when Surviving R. Kelly came out. When Leaving Neverland came out, it was... Yeah,
but Leaving Neverland is a different story because...
No, it's not. It's the same type of documentary. So it's like...
No, but those the cases that they used in Leaving Neverland, like you could argue against those as opposed to Surviving R. Kelly, which is like how many women, not all of them can be lying. The HBO one, there was like so many things that, I mean, if they were true or not, you could... use arguments against them to say that they were lying.
Yeah, but also the key difference in the two cases is because even in Leaving Neverland, which is an extremely biased documentary, even in that it says like Michael Jackson would genuinely play with these kids, like not in a dirty way, like he would genuinely play with them. So like, again, even in a really biased documentary, they're feeding into people's brains that he just innocently likes to play with kids. Even if that's super freaking weird to everybody else. So like, I think it might be both, you know, like he gets the pass and people don't think that that's super weird because his cultural influence. But yeah.
I mean, I feel like Michael kind of gets the Hugh Hefner treatment right now. Like there's so many women that are trying to cancel him right now, but he's dead. Like it's like, what's the point of canceling him because he's gone? There's nothing that we can hurt him with because he's not there anymore. Not that Hugh Hefner's a bad guy. Like I have no idea. That's a whole other story. Not important right now. But
I see the point. It's two dead controversial people versus living controversial people.
Right. I just, you know, like it's hard to say if Michael's guilty. I don't know. Whatever. I'll say it's easier to be okay with what Michael could or could have not done because he's not here anymore. So we can kind of go on about our day because there's no way to prove it anymore. I don't know if that makes any sense.
Yeah, he's not going to suffer any consequences at this point, regardless. Essentially.
Right. So that's what I mean. Like R. Kelly's still alive. We can still fuck this guy over. Michael's almost got, then got away with it. If he did do anything, you know, allegedly, whatever. And now he's gone. So there's no reason to pursue it. There's no villain to get after.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair point.
But I mean, who the fuck knows? This biopic comes out. If it shines him in a good light, who the fuck knows who comes out of the woodworks?
There's a good chance because it says all these producers like are really close to the family and blah, blah, blah. So there is a good chance that it is like very biased and whatever. But They're definitely going to have to touch on it. There's no way they can't.
I just think if he did do anything, it's very hard to. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, we're in the business, kind of. Not that we're in the music business, but we're in, like, you know, if somebody's Me Too'd, we kind of know, like, stories trickle down. Everyone knows about it. I just think, I don't know. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm just thinking if he was as guilty as we think he was, those stories would be out by now. Like, it's so hard to kind of get away with shit now.
I agree with you in a sense where, like, I don't know. I still have that little bit of doubt in my mind, but I also agree with you in a sense that, like, the dam would have broke. Like, somebody would have said something, and then in turn with that person saying something, a ton of people would have came out and said something.
But you can make the argument that they did say something.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, what else does he
honest? Yeah, but
I think public opinion has not ruined him yet, and that's really what it is. And maybe that's kind of fucked up. But again, he's not alive, so there's no reason to.
And the argument against the two of the people coming out is, look at who the two people are, and they're the only two that came out.
But well, not really. But multiple people came out. I think that.
Oh, really? I only knew about two. I only knew about the two of them.
No, it was multiple people came out. It was just that one documentary that they were like, yeah, let's talk about this. And then they kind of like found information about these people. And, you know, maybe that I don't think they should have done a documentary on two people. They should have done, you know, if you had multiple people, you do a documentary on multiple people. You don't just do it on two, because those two could be.
I didn't even know there was other people who alleged things against. I had no idea.
I don't. Jake, do you know off the top of your head like how many people have accused? I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like Cosby level kind of shit, but I could be wrong.
It's not. I don't think, because Cosby's like in the 50s.
I think find
it's
out
like,
right now.
I'm going through like a timeline of it, and it changes because people change whether or not they're going to press charges and stuff like that. But at the first part of investigation, like when the LAPD starts looking into it, it's they think 4 children.
Okay.
And one of them is one of those 4 is one of the kids from Leaving Neverland. So there's still more to come out, because the other one, because there's like Finding Neverland, or not Finding Neverland, Leaving Neverland is primarily based around 2 cases, right?
Yes.
So in this, the second one is yet to. I'm just going. I wish they would just, but this is like a timeline. So.
Yeah, I mean,
anyways, but yeah, I mean, whatever. The documentary, I would hope that they would just get shit on if they didn't.
The biopic, you mean, or the documentary?
Yeah. If they didn't put a little bit on.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're
going to biased it's going to be, though. That's a different question.
I'm sure they'll do. I mean, I haven't watched the Cosby thing yet, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot of like, you know, we built it up. We show you how amazing this guy was for the community, you know, during these times. And then it's going to fast forward to, you know, a few episodes later, or later in the movie or the film, whatever it is, about, you know, what the fuck happened before he passed away. Anyway, sorry. We went on a Michael Jackson rant.
We did. Yeah. Well, that's because it's so it is interesting, because it's like a world mystery at this point, like one of the world's biggest mysteries.
But you kind of want to give it a pass because you want to be able to listen to his music without feeling bad.
Yeah,
and that's kind of why I feel like R. Kelly should have died before his documentary came out.
Yeah, I really don't listen to R. Kelly anymore. Legitimately don't. Because
I haven't for
I honestly just
a while, yeah.
I start thinking about what the song is about, and I'm like, I feel nasty. I need a shower. So I just haven't done it in years now.
And it doesn't help that like he's also like a prolific songwriter at the time for other people, including like Aaliyah.
I know.
Like, in like songs that he wrote for her has lines like "age ain't nothing but a number" and shit like that. Like
I was just gonna say, even going back and listening to Aaliyah is like, oh. And you know what's funny is like when you go back, when you look at it now, like, because I wasn't old enough to realize how creepy it was. But then when you go back and look at like his relationship with Aaliyah, and you're like, oh my God, how did people accept this?
Different time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because everyone else in that time was doing the same fucking thing, so nobody saw a problem with it.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. I said everybody. I don't know anybody that was doing that. So
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Anyways, Tom Holland. Jake might like this. I never played this game.
Oh, we're talking about Uncharted?
No. Dude. So you ever play Jack and Daxter?
Oh, yeah, but like forever ago on like the PlayStation 2 or something like that.
Okay, so apparently, all right, I'm probably.
It's like Naughty Dog, just like we're gonna get Tom Holland in all of our shit because like,
dude, that's what's stressing me out about this whole story right now because
this is like
Uncharted looks off the bat. Uncharted looks terrible. There's no shot I'm watching this movie. It looks bad.
Well, because they did it they like de-aged everyone. Like Tom Holland looks like Tom Holland. Like still,
like Mark Wahlberg should have been the lead, and then they should have fucking Joe Pesci or some old motherfucker to fucking.
Joe Pesci would have been the worst casting for the old mentor. Come on, but like, no, I agree.
In the woods.
Mark Wahlberg would make sense age-wise because like he's supposed to be like
that age.
Yeah, I think a little bit younger than Wahlberg is right now, but like still, he's supposed to be like middle-aged adult. Not like Tom Holland looks like this should be like an origin story more so than it should be like
right.
And maybe it is. Who the fuck knows? But it's
I don't think it's not because they're doing.
Mark Wahlberg's in it.
Yeah.
But he's playing the older character. He should be the main character. Is what we're saying.
I got you.
In Uncharted, Nathan Drake is like closer to Mark Wahlberg, at least in appearance, because maybe they're like Nathan Drake's 30, Tom Holland's 27. Who cares? Or not 27, 23. But like, it's like, I don't think he looks older in the game. He's like an older looking guy. He's supposed to have like a long history. And like,
I mean, there's also a difference between a 20, like an older looking 20-year-old and a 23-year-old who looks 15. Like,
yeah, it's like, yeah, he looks, he'd be perfect if you're trying to cast like fucking
the son of Nathan Drake.
Well, but like if you're trying to like exactly what he did in Spider-Man,
that's
slightly older than Spider-Man, but he looks young and so he can play a high schooler. Like
that basically what they did was they're banking on, hey, we're gonna make 5 more of these Uncharted movies. So we got Tom Holland, he's young as fuck, and we're gonna milk the shit out of this. But the problem with it is it doesn't make any sense in comparison to the fucking video game because he looks like he just got out of high school. And Mark Wahlberg looks like his dad, who should be the lead of the fucking movie.
Yeah,
it's just it's silly.
Well, here's an article. Uncharted movie director says video game movies shouldn't try to recreate games. So he's defending himself, saying he's not following it.
No, he's not wrong. But here's the thing: you can make a different movie at this point. Like, what's the point of calling it Uncharted if it's like what we're going to like? It's one thing. It's like we're not going to follow the story of any specific game. But like, I understand that entirely. Make a new story with characters people are familiar with. Wonderful.
But then don't call it Uncharted.
No, but here's the thing that I would say is at least make the characters like that. Keep them. Yeah, I get it. Like it's hard to make like a 2-hour movie out of like a 40-hour game. So don't keep the main plot points or don't. But the characters should be the recognizable part of anything.
But like, not only that, like from the scene that I've seen, they do I don't know if you played the Uncharted games. Jake.
I did.
I haven't.
You have. So I think it's the third one where he falls out of a plane and he's hanging from it.
Yeah.
And now this is in the first film. So either maybe like I'll play devil's advocate. I'm assuming
they're doing all 3 of the original trilogy at once.
Right. Let's just, well, that's what I'm saying. Let's just assume because, technically Uncharted is done. Like Naughty Dog's like, we're not making another one. I doubt that. But anyway, let's just assume that the films, they don't plan on making sequels. So they're like, all right, let's just pick the best parts of the game series.
Well, maybe like the studio looked at it. Like they were like, oh, this would be a cool like film series. And then they looked at the casting. We're like, I guess we're not making sequels. Like, because it doesn't work. Like, here's the thing is that a lot of the times I'm like, hair and makeup can do a whole lot. It can't make Tom Holland look 40. And that's what he has to fucking look like.
Well, no, all they had to do, like, forget about Tom Holland.
But what's the point?
That's what I know.
You can leave him the same. At least try to age Mark Wahlberg. Give him some gray hair if you're going to do some corny shit to begin with. Like, if you're going to do anything corny, make Mark Wahlberg look old, and then he kind of just like gets very physical in the movie. And you're like, oh shit, this old guy is kind of cool. But now you have two guys that are completely capable of being physical. It defeats the whole purpose, because in the game you have this old guy who's kind of not holding you down, but
he's your mentor essentially. Like, he's basically, and then I think the second or third one, they tease upon bits of like that past relationship. Like he finds you as a kid and stuff, and like kind of half raises you. But like he basically does what you're doing currently in the past in a lesser extent. You're doing better than he was, but it's like, it feels like they're, even if like, what aren't they throwing away, I guess, besides like we're making an adventure movie and calling it Uncharted at this point.
Again, back to what you said though, you don't really, I mean, this is kind of like any video game or any movie. You don't need to like, I know you keep the name because you want people to buy it, but just change the name and make it its own thing. Like, you could have easily probably did this. You got Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, you could have made an adventure movie out of those. Anybody's
gonna buy that. Like, any fucking casual moviegoer is gonna buy that shit. Especially, post Spider-Man. Anything with Tom Holland, gajillion dollars. That's it. That's all. Like, him fucking falling out of a plane. That's awesome. Like, obviously, like, if you play the video game, you're gonna be like, oh, that's from Uncharted. Yeah. But like,
well, once again, like you don't have to stick to like a hard script of what's in the game. Right. Like, in the same way that the MCU takes what they think works for their movies out of the comics, they don't necessarily like hard adapt everything from the comics. And you don't have to do that. But what they do at minimum is like make the characters at least recognizable. They get changed. They get things like switched around about them. But like, Tom Holland doesn't look like Nathan Drake. Nope. And it's kind of embarrassing to like make it seem as though he's supposed to, because Nathan Drake is supposed to be like this kind of like halfway jacked, like rugged adventure.
Not even jacked. He's just like,
he's fit. He's fit. Like, that's basically it.
Just he's a regular guy.
Oh my God. I finally just pulled up the picture of Tim from the game.
Yeah.
You're not wrong at all.
Exactly.
We know.
But Eric, you were like spot on where Mark Wahlberg should be playing him. Like, Mark Wahlberg looks like him.
Well, like, when the video game came out, that's what everyone was saying. We're like, oh, Mark Wahlberg would probably be a pretty good casting for this movie. Or the other guy, who's the guy that actually like voices them? Looks just
he does look similar to him. Yeah, I remember that. Like, I can't remember his name off the top. I mean,
nobody knows him,
that story.
So obviously he's not going to get hired. But even that, like, you could, I wouldn't hire him either because nobody knows who the fuck he is. But still, like, even that would have been a better casting because he at least matches the age of the guy.
The thing is that like he's like decent. He's an in shape dude, and not that Tom Holland's out of shape, but he's in shape. He's fucking rugged, and Tom Holland
Holland can't grow a beard. Like
Tom Holland, yeah, exactly. Tom Holland looks like he is like in high school, like as we've said, and that's great for the roles. Wonderful for aging because he's probably going to look young for fucking ever. Mm-hmm. But like, it makes it an awkward casting for this specifically.
The only thing I can think of is they plan on making multiple movies of this. That's the only explanation I can think of.
And the only thing I can think is they're so far off because this is like,
no,
you have to, in order to get make sequels, money, you got to sell the first one.
Right. It'll probably make money, but I don't know if it's going to break. I don't know. We could probably
Yeah. You know what? For him, I think that there's a possibility that Tom Holland plays games and is like, oh, fuck yeah, that sounds dope. I loved Uncharted.
Well, it says that he pitched him pitched him a movie for this. What is it? Jack and Daxter?
Yeah.
Well, that's why we started this conversation. So he apparently he pitched an idea for Jack and Daxter. I didn't read what the idea was. I guess Jess can Google that. But there's a reason he pitched it. And I guess it's because they're going to make a Jack and Daxter live action film. And I don't know how I feel about that. I never really played the games, but now I'm just thinking, but it goes back to
just
Jake,
back.
what you said.
I can't wait. Tom Holland stars as Crash Bandicoot. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
that's what you said. You were like, is Tom Holland just going to take over for all these films? But it looks like
he's exclusively not going to do The Last of Us, and then everything else he's going to be like the face of Naughty Dog's adaptations.
Well, that's like a perfect example. Can you imagine Tom Holland as the dad in Last of Us? Like that's exact. Like whoever they got.
Well, they're very similar fucking character types.
Exactly.
Like,
so like
Joel is a little bit more rugged because he lives in the post-apocalypse. But like,
if they had gotten the same guy to play Joel that they did for Uncharted, that would have been perfect casting. Like
I agree.
I would have taken that.
His pitch was actually a dark horror that he wanted to do it. He wanted to make it with A24.
For Jack and Daxter.
Yeah.
Wait, what was his pitch?
A dark horror film?
He really weird and dark, and he wanted to do it with A24, which is a horror. A24 is a horror company.
Listen, Tom, don't just stay out of the writing room. Just do your thing. Nobody asked. But he does. I mean, the plus side to Tom is like he actually. I don't think this is the first time that he's like pitched an idea to certain movies. I think he does this a lot. So I mean, it's kind of nice that he wants some sort of a say in these things. But I do find it interesting that he pitched an idea to a movie that's already being developed, which means I'm assuming he's locked on for this and they haven't announced it. Because why would he pitch an idea for a Jack and Daxter film if he wasn't going to be a part of it? Why would he
I think you might have got ran with a headline, because the further I look, like in more articles, they asked him the question in an Uncharted interview.
Mm-hmm.
So and he responded like as an interview answer, and they said that like he said his dream would be to do that. So my guess here is that he's slated to be in it, and now he's just talking shit in his interview to promo it.
But I don't think he's slated, like, to the public. I don't think he's slated to be in it, which is why I'm saying it's interesting that he's being either asked this question or the fact that he's even pitching this, because he's had a lot of dreams. He dreamed to be Spider-Man, and he dreamed to be a couple of. I think he even mentioned the Uncharted thing. Like he seems to be dreaming about shit that he either knows about or
it's stuff that media that he grew up with, like.
I mean, either he's the luckiest man alive or he just like knows shit and he doesn't want to spoil it. I mean, like he's known for spoiling things. So maybe this is his way of spoiling it without actually saying, I'm going to be a part of this movie.
And Uncharted is a prequel, by the way. Maybe that's why he's young. That's why they cast him.
But that like as a person who is kind of annoyed that you're not going to stick to the game, it's annoying because you're skipping ahead to the third game, having a scene like one of the best scenes from that game, and then putting into a prequel. It's like, bro. I mean, maybe a prequel makes more sense. Obviously, he's younger, but also
still, I saw a scene. Who knows if this is like actually how they meet scene, but like they show a scene on something where it's like him and Mark Wahlberg seemingly meeting, and Tom Holland's working like behind a bar and shit. And Mark Wahlberg's like, oh, you seem a little young to be working at a bar. And Tom Holland has another age-related quip that comes after it. But it's like, once again,
I mean,
why throw out how they originally meet?
Well,
because that's not it. And once again, if you're changing this many things,
then don't call
what's
it
the
Uncharted.
fucking point? Like, why even have the IP if you're using just the names from it? Like,
And Eric, to answer your question, this is an old thing. So it says Tom has previously expressed a desire to make a Jack and Daxter movie, and then it just happened to be that Ruben was already working on the project, and then they reached out to him for a meeting.
Wait, so who? I guess he would play the voice of the lead, because I can't.
So yeah, but I guess what happened was like, because with Naughty Dog, like it was like just a weird coincidence. I don't know how true that is though either. I think he's just trying to promo it. I think he's trying to get the role, and he said something publicly so that people were like, "Oh, I want Tom Holland to have this role."
Unlike Uncharted, him playing the voice of Jack, that's perfect casting. That's great. Go ahead. But Uncharted makes no fucking sense to me. Still. Ow. I just hurt myself.
Yeah. Once again, it's not Tom Holland as an actor can't do shit. This is, in my opinion, just bad casting. Because like you said, like, even if it is a prequel, it's changing a little bit of the origin of like how those two meet. And also, you already hired Mark Wahlberg. I mean, maybe he's in the room. Let him be Nathan Drake. Like,
right. I mean, honestly, though,
so much better. And then you don't even have to do this prequel nonsense to justify hiring someone who doesn't look age appropriate. Because I think that's it. They cast him, and then they're like, oh, and then they looked at what the character looked like. It reeks of, and this is typically the problems with things of like video game not translating to film and television. It's people who are like, oh, this was popular, but have no context for the show. Right. And then it fails and people are like, oh, you can't adapt video games. But like, then you get shit, and it's not purely a video game adaptation, but you get shit like The Witcher that's like filled with people who fucking love the books and the video games and shit. And it's like,
hate the show.
No, they fucking love the show.
Okay.
The show is one of the best fantasy shows running right now. Like,
yeah.
Do you watch it?
Oh yeah, I've it's 2 seasons in. It's fantastic.
Why aren't we reviewing that daily?
Because the season 2 was over like 3 months ago now, 4 months ago.
Whatever. Anyway, but I do think, honestly, I would be very surprised if The Last of Us series is bad.
Based on all the context on that, it seems like they're doing good. Like
we've been talking about this for a year. I don't know where the fuck the show is. How long is it going to be? Summer?
Well, I mean, clearly they're shooting like all of it right now. Right. So like, because you have to remember, like it got announced early COVID.
That's true.
So like, I mean, we had an episode, like it was announced, and then like a week or 2 later, we had the episode where we talked about fucking the casting about it. Like,
I'll be very surprised if that show, like, I'm very excited. Very excited.
Anyway, I think we got to get to wrapping.
Are we? What are we at?
We're quite a bit over.
Oh, damn. All right. So I won't even go into the other topics then. We're good. We did well. Are we well over?
Like, do you want a 2-hour episode or not?
Damn, I'm very sorry. I thought we were killing it. I thought we were at like an hour. I'm sorry.
No, we're at like an hour 10, 15.
All right, that's not bad. That's lower than the other episodes. Anyway, all right, cool. This was an early episode that we shot. I'm glad you guys are here. Hope you guys enjoyed the Super Bowl. Let's go. Who we voting for? Who we voting?
Who we voting for?
Which team are you voting for?
My sister lives in Cincinnati, so I feel maybe I should be going for the Bengals. But I also
Bengals, baby.
Like Matt Stafford.
Damn.
So, like, and I kind of like the idea.
Nah, but everybody loves the Bengals quarterback right now.
Well, because he's like new and young and shit. Yeah, I mean, I don't dislike
personality.
I don't dislike him, but it's
my
like
my friend said he was it him or the kicker of the team of 2 games ago. He said, "Well, I guess we're going to the AFC Championship." And
but the kicker said it, but Joe Burrow recapped the story to the press.
Okay, thank you, Jake. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, but no, I also like the Matt Stafford story because he basically was in fucking hell, the super talented quarterback that would like over his career had different good pieces with him, but never at the same time. It was like, oh, he had one of the best receivers in Calvin Johnson, but not at the same time as like a decent defense. Then he had like Ndamukong Suh, but not at the same time as like a lot of receivers to throw to or like a good running game. Like it's constantly like always in the middle of like the pack, which is like the worst place to be in any major sport, is like drafting in the middle of the round, barely not making the playoffs. And that was like his permanent life, because like combination of bad free agent choices and draft choices and stuff. And then being able to be like, I'm not the shitty part of this. Because a lot of it was like, you can't win with Matt Stafford. And it was like,
they were blaming him.
Looks like because he was there for like a decade. So it's like, and he'd put up all these stats, and it's like understandable. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, like a lot of like retired quarterbacks that didn't quite live up to shit will all like say it's like, oh yeah, well, we never really had it all around him. And people are like, yeah, sure, whatever. But like in Matt Stafford, if he wins, suddenly it's just like, see, it is important to have like a whole fucking team. I also like that specifically because I don't like the narrative that's like any team is just one talented quarterback away.
Yeah.
Because a lot of teams do that, where it's like they give up everything for a quarterback, and it's like, lo and behold, because you don't have anyone around them, they're still shit. Like,
right. It's not just based on one guy. It's like the entire team.
And also the fact that like prior to Cooper Kupp this season having like the most reception, I think he had the most receiving yards in a regular season.
Yeah.
This year, the guy who had it beforehand was also being thrown to by Matt Stafford in Calvin Johnson. So like he's the quarterback behind two of the most prolific receiving seasons of all time. Like dudes, if he wins this, dudes is like, you gotta kind of look at it. But
I heard that it's like pretty much a guarantee that the Bengals are gonna like really win.
They're not favored.
They also barely won the last game.
The Bengals are.
I don't watch football. That's just what I heard.
I think that's. I don't think there's. The Bengals are like a surprise, so I think that's like someone getting super hyped into it.
Yeah, they came back by 20 points in the last game. I wouldn't say it's a done deal.
And a lot of that is the Chiefs making a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes. Like it wouldn't be a surprise. The Rams are only favored by 4 points, 4.5 points or something like that. So to say like the Bengals don't have a chance is like, just
no, they
untrue.
do have it. They do have a chance. What I'm
saying is that it would be all the other way of excited.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying that neither team should be like wildly favored. Like this isn't like super lopsided, and that's what the spread shows. It's like you also remember like it's in Los Angeles, like so Los Angeles is playing a home game.
For LA because LA.
Are they really? I didn't even realize.
Yeah, for the second year.
Bengals and who?
Los Angeles Rams.
Oh shit! So it's gonna be damn.
Well, so this for the second year in a row, one of the people in the Super Bowl is going to be playing in their home stadium. Tampa Bay last year.
Well, all right. Before this becomes a football podcast, let's wrap this up. Thank you guys for coming. Hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. What else happened Sunday? The Oscars? When's the Oscars? 2 weeks from now?
Close it.
I'm just closing it. We're closing it. I'm 3 beers in. Super soft. I dedicate this to you. I didn't think I would like it, but now I'm inebriated at 4:34 in the afternoon. Jake, do you want to stream It Takes Two?
Maybe later tonight. Sure. But what time do you have to fucking? Yeah,
I don't know.
You work tomorrow.
I don't know. I'm gonna be crying for the next 8 hours because I'm scared for life tomorrow.
Eric, say goodbye.
Saying goodbye. Check out SVU if you haven't already. If you heard of it, it's called Law and Order SVU. It's a new.
Just hit stop.
All right.
No, I didn't.
I said no. Just do it. Is what I'm saying. Eric's like. You never want to close cleanly. Like we have to sit there for 5 minutes every time.
It's been so hard for me to edit the intros lately too, because he doesn't want to do the actual introduction.
All right, I'm leaving. All right. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. Thank you guys for coming every Monday, the Hold for Everything podcast. And that's it. That's it. Hope you enjoy the show. See you next week, Monday. Bye-bye.
What's up, bitch?